Now here is a picture of Jesus when he was a boy. You see this right here? What is he doing? Look at his hands. And what's this right here? That's the Bible. And I want you to look at these men. Old men. What's this man doing with his hand? It's up by his ear. He's saying, "Ah? What's that you say? I'm listening to you, little Jesus." He is teaching all these men about God. Now, do you know how Jesus learned so much about God? When he was a boy, he really prayed a lot, just like you're learning how to pray in your quiet time, right? When you have your little quiet time, when mommy and daddy are praying, you can pray too, and you can learn about God too. He can talk to you. And Jesus read his Bible too when he was a little boy. That's how he learned about God. Here's a daddy that's teaching his son about God. See, there's the Bible right there. Now, what's this girl doing? She's praying to God. She's folding her hands and she's looking up and saying, what do you think she's saying? Dear Jesus, I love you. And where's her mommy and daddy? They're not there. She's praying by herself. Her mommy and daddy are in another room. So even though you're a little child, you can still pray to God. Just like Jesus, when his parents were in the other room, he prayed to God when he was by himself. And then he got so smart about God that he was teaching all these old men. Look at this guy. He's holding his head. Oh my goodness, this little boy is so smart. He really knows God. Do you know what else God would do when Jesus was praying when he was a little boy? He would talk to him in his thinking. Just like God is starting to talk to you, isn't he? He's starting to talk to you in your thinking when you have your special time with him. That's right, when no one else is there, only you and we're in the other room, you can still hear from God and you can still pray to him just like this little baby. Here's another little girl praying. She's on her knees, and what do you think she's saying? She's saying, thank you, God, for my dolly that I'm holding. Where's her mommy and daddy? They're in the other room. She's praying all by herself, which you can do too. Here's a mommy putting her little baby in the bed, and she's saying, I'm going to lay you down to bed, but when you're all by yourself in your bed, I want you to pray to God and say, God, I love you. Talk to me tonight in my dreams. Look at these children. They're praying too. This little girl's praying, and this mommy is praying, but they're not praying, are they? No. They are playing. But they're praying together. Here's another picture of Jesus in the temple teaching all the men about God, and he has the glory shining around his head. And these men are listening. He's like, oh, what's you saying? What are you saying, little boy? And this little man, what are you saying? And this one's like, whoa, he really knows a lot about God. How did he learn so much about God? And look at this man over here. He's whispering to his friend, psst, 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 psst. How did this little boy get to know so much about God? He is really, really knowing a lot about God.
That's funny.
Here's Jesus when he was a little boy too. And when he was a little boy, they didn't have Bibles in regular books. They had Bibles in these long pieces of paper called scrolls. And they were rolled up. See, there's his Bible. It's rolled up. And that's probably like the Bible that Jesus would read when he was a little boy. There's Jesus' mommy, and there's John's mommy, Elizabeth, and there's John the Baptist right there. Here's another picture of Jesus' mommy, And she's hugging Jesus right here, and there's John the Baptizer. This is when they went to the temple. They went on these camels to go into the temple. That's another place that Jesus would learn about the Bible, and he would study the Bible, and he would pray to God even when he was a little boy. He got on these camels, and they would go into Jerusalem right here. Whoa, there's Jesus talking again. Now, let's talk about some things that are not good to do. What's this little baby doing? That little baby's like, ah! Bonking his mommy right on the face. Is that a good thing to do? Sometimes you do feel like kind of mad at your mommy though, right? Sometimes you feel angry at mommy. Well, when you're praying to God, that's a good time to say, God, help me when I feel angry to be obedient and to tell my feelings in a nice voice and not hit people. There's the devil coming to try to get this little girl to disobey. He's like, you're not supposed to eat that cookie, but you should disobey your mommy and eat that cookie anyway. But when you're praying to God in your special time alone with God, that's a time when you can ask God, God, help me to obey my parents and to obey you and not to obey the devil. Does the devil look nice there? No. Here's a little girl. What's she doing? Yay! She's worshiping God! Praise Jesus! And sometimes when you're with God, you can dance and worship Him. Let's look up close. She looks so happy in her face, and she's lifting up her hand. You know, sometimes when we worship God and lift up our hands. She's worshiping God in the grass outside. Now here's a little child, and this little child is so happy because she is with her mommy, and her mommy's holding her on her lap. And when you're in your special time with God, that's a time when you can thank God for your mommy and your daddy. And you can say, thank you, God, that you gave me a good mommy and a good daddy who are with me and hold me on their lap and give me a big hug. Here's a little boy. He's happy. What can he pray about? He's in his car seat in the van, and he is going on a trip. So that's another thing. When you're in your special time with God all by yourself, and mommy and daddy are in another room, you can say, God, keep me safe when we are in the car. Look at these children. Did they look happy? Why? Yeah, they're with their grandma and grandpa. And behind there you see a picture of a house right there. And they're so happy. So when you're in your special time with God, that's a time when you can say, God, thank you for Nani and Papa Tom and Mimi. Thank you for my grandparents. What's this little girl doing? What's she got right there? She's drinking some water. So you can say, thank you, God. When you're in your special time with God, you can say, thank you, God, that you give me drinks that are so clean and water that's clean. Because some children do not have clean water. They have to drink the poopy water from the cows. Because they live in a place where they don't have clean water. What are these children doing? They're so happy because they're eating. Thank you, God, for the food. This little girl's eating watermelon. In her special time with God, she could say, thank you, God, for the food that you give to me. What's this little boy doing? He's holding out his hands saying, God, thank you that I have all my fingers and all my toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fingers. He's saying, thank you, God, that you gave me all my fingers and all my toes. But you know what? Some children are born without all their fingers and toes, but they could still say, thank you, God, for my 6 fingers, or thank you, God, for my 9 fingers. Thank you for a healthy body. So, when you're having your quiet time and praying to God with your special time when mommy and daddy are in the other room, you can pray about all these things just like this little girl is praying. And then, when you get to be a little older, God is going to really help you to help other people too. And even now, when you're a little girl or a little boy, you can help others and teach other people about Jesus, just like Jesus is doing here, telling the people about God. Even though he's a little boy, he didn't wait till he was a grown-up to tell people about God. He did it when he was a little boy, but it all starts from your special time alone with God when mommy and daddy are in the other room.